Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Whatever the time zone in your neighborhood, we welcome you to a live broadcast here of the Issues Room. This is our 203rd edition. We're here on Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and on our Issues Room page. The Issues Room is the alternative social media platform established to present to you the things that matter to Liberia. We discuss those issues pertinent to the development and growth of our country. We enlighten, and we also look at issues on the continent of Africa and that of the diaspora of Black people. We welcome you wholeheartedly wherever you are tonight. We say thank you for joining us here tonight. If you can, please share our link. It's right there. If you look at our promo, we appreciate it. We also like for you to come in here and be a participant by weighing in through your uh, post, and also if necessary call us to be a part of the conversation. My name is Volcano Shelton. I'll be here with you later until my colleagues join me. But I'd like to encourage you to invite others to continue to uh, be a part of our platform. It is not easy, to come out here every Tuesday and Friday to look at the issues out of Liberia. We have to put time in, it's talent, it's resources, it's a lot. But we also appreciate you, our viewers, for the time you put aside to join us, because it would be useless if we just sit here and talk to ourselves. So we wholeheartedly appreciate your viewership, your support, and your stick to itiveness, and so we continue to acknowledge you. So Raymond Clark, thank you for coming in tonight as our first uh, audience, first in the audience, and we say thank you. We hope others will join us here. Of course, we see the number, but you're the one who just made yourself known to be in the issues room. I know there are many of our viewers who don't usually come out here to showcase or say something or just throw a shout out there so we know they're there. But those of you who we consider the silent viewer, we say thank you also for coming in here tonight. But we wanted to look at a few things, that we are transitioning from the George Weah era to the Joseph Boakai era. And as I speak to you right now, the transitional team has been put together and they're looking at that transitional period, what to turn over, what would be inherited, what to, look forward to. So I believe both sides are busy, but I heard that the president traveled, and also I saw something. I'm not sure rather how true that is. That President-elect Boakai left Liberia today for the U.S. So both of them are out of the country, and I'm hearing from what I saw that uh, Jeremiah Kuhn, the vice president, will head the transitional team so that they can continue uh, the planning process, the turning over process, and leading up to the inauguration. So those are good signs. So both president and president-elect, from all indications, are not in the country. So let's hope that the outside visit will, uh, bring something back to Liberia, and we hope for the best in this transitional period. We'd like to welcome Adiaha Umo out there in Australia. Good to see you here tonight. And we encourage you to also invite others to join us. Tonight we'll be looking at the Boakai government, some of the things that the issues room wants to propound so that President-elect Boakai can begin to address in his first 100 days. One of the things is cleaning up the country. We're not saying cleaning up the city, but cleaning up the country. The country is dirty. Over the last several years, the country has just turned into a dirty pit. Even all of the new roads being built with low drainage in the middle, the people have turned those drainages into dump sites. Everywhere you turn is a dump pile, and it's so bad. Um, there are videos trending and pictures trending on social media showing that they're cleaning up. Good citizens coming together to clean up the city in preparation for the inauguration. But that's not all to it. So it's not just cleaning for this moment, it's cleaning the country for the long haul, because we've, you know, gotten so filthy to the point that uh, everywhere is just filth. I'm not seeing it. Many of you know it. A lot of us here in the diaspora go to Liberia and we see it. So that's one of the things we want to talk about, uh, that President-elect Boakai would pay attention to, because apparently the city governments didn't pay attention to those things. Jefferson Koji flat out said that he was not hired to be a diver, so it was not one of the key items on his agenda. I'm not sure about the mayor in Painesville, the mayor in other, suburban cities around Monrovia, what their attention was to the cleanliness of their communities. When Mirabro was there, I think she kind of initiated the every one Saturday in the month, where the communities were cleaning up to I believe 10 or 12 o'clock in the day on Saturday before they go into the normal routine. That disappeared, and of course, you know, the interesting thing is that people will come with a diet at night and just drop it on the main street. Drop it on the main street, and those dice will stay there. Dogs will go and rip up, and then it spreads all over the place. And as soon as one person takes that diet and put it anywhere on the street, everybody begin to bring the diet. So, what are some of the mechanisms that will be put in place to address this situation? And if we were to maintain the process of trying to clean the city, what are some of the things that this government needs to do to ensure that there's sustenance, that it will be kept, that it will be maintained? So we're going to be discussing that. The other thing we also want to talk about is the enforcement of traffic regulations in the country. For those of you who have gone to Liberia, I just came back about 3 weeks now. It is dangerous driving in Liberia. How can you drive in a country where there's no traffic regulation, no road sign? Most of the lanes are not marked, and so people just drive helter skelter. And you will find people driving directly in your lane, coming from the opposite direction, and not just transportation cars, private cars, but you're talking government officials who should be being protector and doers and abiding citizens of the law. Those folks will be doing those kinds of things. Then the motorbike boys will just join them, and the keke and everybody just become a chaos. So we really need to enforce traffic regulations in Liberia with this new government, because I would say the previous government didn't give a damn. And it just got to the point where people just do whatever and drive however they want to. And it has been very dangerous for the safety of our people. The other thing we also want to emphasize here tonight is, listen, we understand the motorbikers have been one of the ways that public transportation has been eased, but they have done it to the point where there's no regards. These are the same people who are riding anyhow with no regard for pedestrian. They will just jump all over the place. They will not even observe traffications. A man puts a signal light on. They don't give a crap. They just cut you off. And when you mistakenly hit them or they hit you, they all blame you and they all run on you. And then it becomes something dangerous to your own life. So we want the government to begin to look at whether it's necessary for these pimping boys to be around Monrovia in the immediate, environments of Monrovia, or whether we should push them back to the Leeward area so that we can begin to have some sanity in fact in traffic regulations in the city and its environs. And then we also want to talk about Nathaniel McGill, who senator elect of Mogilby County, um, is saying that he's embracing the audit. Is he for real? He says he doesn't own any property in Dubai. Whoever said that, he would prefer that they take the documents and bring it to the government so the government can use it as an embassy. So these are the things we'll be talking about. So we've laid the grounds. Moses Sandy is here right now. So let me just bring him in. Tonia Brooks, thank you for coming. Maria Gardell, it's good to see you here. So I think this will be some good conversation here tonight. And we'll hope that you guys can weigh in because honestly, uh, we need to start cleaning house. We need to start projecting the kind of image the first republic on the continent should project. And there's an engineer who continued to post some of the old infrastructure by the name of Mr. McCready. Mr. McCready has been on the show. We'll try to see if we can get him again. But he's been posting a lot of good stuff from back in the day, like the different cinemas, the Rivoli, the Relda, the Gabriel Cinema. When you see Gabriel Cinema, they put my man Moses, they put hanging clothes all on Broad Street. Clothes. I'm telling you, my man. So we'll go into that, but
I'm never
well,
going back to the very primitive days, my man. What?
I said put hanging clothes, my man. Hanging clothes on the banister.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But welcome, my man. Good to see you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. Uh, it's raining on my end, yeah. So traffic, but it's good to be here tonight. The discussion, as I was listening to you, is going to be very interesting, and these are critical issues that we need to talk about. We don't want to dictate how Mr. Boakai and his team run the country, but we just want to bring to his attention that these are critical issues that the government should begin to take a critical look at. Uh, the optimisms are high, and a lot of people believe that he's indeed going to make a difference. So we just want to bring these issues to his attention, to the attention of the individuals that will be making up the leadership, so that they can begin to consider these matters critically. It's a pleasure being here. Let me join you to say welcome to our many viewers tonight. Please help us share the link, share the link, share the link, and invite more people. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Let me tell you, good to see you, my man. It's been a while. Good to see you back in the issues room. But Sumo, also good to see you. And I did mention Maria Gardel and Dia
Itaya, yeah, our sister,
Raymond Clark.
Raymond
Thank
Clark.
you so much. But Moses, listen, man. We're talking about the cleanliness of the country. And we didn't want to say the cities because of course the country. Um, you can't come from Monrovia and then you go somewhere else, then it looks crazy there, So we say the city, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lately, since the president-elect was given his
Announced.
her
Mm-hmm. The
what
green light.
announcement was made and the green light, they have been trying to clean many of the areas. In fact, in the LBS chat room, our old veteran broadcast journalists and employees of LBS, we have this chat room, and this discussion has been around there. People like Laurice Reeves and I believe Olivia Channel, and they all were, they're just throwing jabs
Oh,
at
wow.
getting the city clean. Everyone there kind of comment if civil society can take the lead, like ordinary citizens from the old, like you and myself, who know
Mm-hmm.
what it means to have a clean environment, can take the lead. But we see lately people are cleaning, and I believe it's in preparation for the inauguration. But what happens after the inauguration? Because our people have been so clued to keep dirt around them. Moses, the guy drinks a plastic bag of water, he just throw it on wherever,
Yeah.
and these plastic bags can pile up and they don't get rotten, so it makes it so difficult, to keep the place clean. So this quick fix cleaning that they're trying to do is not sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at Monrovia and its environs, you go to Center Street, you go to the areas of Waterside, the areas of the red light. You've seen, we've covered those things before, you know. Do you think that this little preparation should stop here, give it a facelift and stop here? Or what are some of the things that you think, even though you have not been to Liberia, but you've seen it? I mean, the photos are there, the videos are out there. How do you think this should be, the government should approach this? Because I have
Well,
thought, right? Yeah.
yeah, an
And,
excellent question.
and also, I want the viewers out here, Thomas Awaji, Emmanuel Jackson, Tommy, Manisumo, Nubo Fole, throw some jabs at us here tonight. How do you think the government needs to approach a sustainable, clean country? Let's put it that way. So go ahead, Mo.
Yeah, excellent question. But before even answering the question, let's look at why it is important that we keep our living environments clean. Why do we have to clean up? Why do we tell our kids to clean their bedrooms? Why do we clean our homes? Why do we do our lawns and all of that? The importance of doing that. Our research has shown that there is a relationship or a correlation between a clean environment and longevity. There is also a correlation between unclean environment and illnesses that come along with that. If you don't maintain your home environment, you're going to start having problems with bed bugs, roaches, rats, and so many diseases. You begin to have problem with diarrhea because whenever it rains, look at this. You see why the problem of mosquitoes in Liberia is so high? Look at this volcano. So when you have an environment like this is where you're gonna have rodents. You're gonna have roaches. You're gonna have the problem of diarrhea because whenever it rains and the post sanitary condition we have in our country, the rain is going to come and wash this. This is going to run into the river, and most of our people drink from what?
Well.
Well, some of our people drink from what? The riverside. That when that happens, you take the water, you go home, the water is now boiled, you drink that water, the next day you start having problem with diarrhea. So many people had excuse me. Let me just drink a little bit. Yes, sorry about that. The point I was making here is that so many people have died and continue to die of volcano because of unclean environment. When you keep your environment clean, the problems of mosquitoes go away. Roaches won't come, and start eating over your food. You're not going to have problem with rodents. You will live longer because the environment is clean. That's what medical doctors, that's what environmentalists encourage us to keep our home environments clean. Now the question is, how do we sustain the problem of keeping our cities, or let's say keeping Liberia as a whole, as a country? Why should we keep our environment clean, and how can we do this? I strongly share the view that cleaning Monrovia or cleaning Liberia should not be done impulsively. It shouldn't be something like what Mr. Weir did when he took over the country a few years ago, and he just woke up one morning, he looked at the sky, and he said, "Oh, now we're gonna have free, you know, education at university and community colleges level." He did not do the math. As a result, his administration was unable to fund that initiative. That's why most institutions in the country today, publicly owned institutions in the country today, continue to struggle. Cleaning Monrovia should be a priority. It should be well planned. It should be financed. And one thing that I think over the years, the city government has not been able to do. Volcano, you and I will reside in the United States. You and I know how much money we spend on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, paying for trash pickup, garbage pickup. We pay consistently on a monthly basis. I pay $60 for people to come and take my trash. It happens once a week, 4 times in a month. I pay $60. Some people pay more. Some people pay less. They do that because, or we do this because we want to keep our environment clean. So, as a government, as a city government, you have all these businesses around the country. Yeah, I mean, not around the country, but rather you have all these businesses in Monrovia. Not just limit this specifically to Monrovia. You got businesses that are operating there. These people should be what? Made to pay for the service. The marketing association that operate markets all over the city of Monrovia. These people should be able to pay for what? Trash pickup. Bring in equipment. Hire individuals, pay them well. The guys who do trash pickup in this country are highly paid because this is a job that a lot of people, will not want to do. So if someone is volunteering to do that or is signing up to do that, that person has to be paid a livable wage. Bring in the equipment, hire more people, make this sustainable. It should not be done haphazardly. Oh yeah, inauguration is coming. Let's clean the city. So after inauguration, then what do we do next? We'll go right back to the same thing.
So let me come in quick
Yes.
since you took that lead.
Yeah.
I mean, here in America, you have city ordinances, you have city
Hmm.
government,
Hmm.
you have city cleanup departments within the city government,
Yeah.
but you also have contract private companies,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
That will they will outsource some of that work too.
Hmm.
We need to have few of those kinds of operations in Liberia. But here what it is, and I've spoken to a few guys, even this guy, Ansu Dualu,
Yeah.
he said that was one of the areas that he went to Liberia to invest in, and there were too much bottlenecks.
Yeah.
I hope he was here tonight to explain it. How many other people? Because it is a business by itself that
It's a
you can
serious
barely
business.
raise the kind of money. But I would say first, the government and country needs to um, identify where they will find use as a landfill, right?
Hmm.
First, got to identify that space and what would be that space, and how can we turn that landfill into sustainable energy as well, like
Hmm.
biofuels and what have you can get from the debris. When you establish that location, then you will be able to determine the kinds of equipment you need, right?
Right.
uh, then you'll also know the workforce you need as a government first.
Hmm.
Then when you have smaller companies coming around and trying to go into because you see the Liberian man don't start something until his friends start.
Hmm.
As soon as his friends start, then everybody. So right now, they plastic bag they're selling in the water. Everybody own water company now. You will find Joblo Water Company, John Peter Water Company, Inja R Water Company, all kinds of water companies until I don't even drink any of them. So I just go to the original Aqua or Mr. Amin Modad water called Pure.
Yeah.
Yeah, those two water, that's the water I would drink. Because everybody now is investing in water company. They're digging
Yeah.
well
Yeah. Garden digging well.
and they put in plastic bed, they say that water
Mhm.
company,
Yeah. What a
mineral
company.
water.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. Nobody wants to go into this until somebody starts it and then they see it to be some kind of venture that everyone will want to go into. But the most important thing from my perspective is first identifying where these debris and garbages will be thrown,
Hmm.
you know, and how that area will be also maintained because you can just identify the place, not understand the environmental impact it will have on the different locations or neighborhoods around there. So
Hmm.
you want to go to a faraway place, right?
Yes.
And utilize that space. Then the government needs to partner with some of the international organizations like
Of
the
course.
EU.
Mhm.
You know, the man who made a statement that Monrovia was the most dirty city. You
You
hold
reach out to him,
you
yeah.
hold that man foot to the fire and say, my man, yes,
Everyone's.
we know and we but we helpless. We want you to come in. We want you to support this lofty cause. And this guy can look in places in the European Union to find subsidies that will help, this project.
Mhm.
But it has to start from somewhere, but must be systematically organized. Don't come and put money in the budget and you don't follow the money to make sure that the incentivification for this project was taken care of. Somebody put it in the pocket. Look at what happened. Uh, when this government took over the previous government about to leave power, I saw where they brought some yellow machine. Jefferson Koji was happy about it. They brought some yellow machine. They brought some trucks. But what is the maintenance of those equipment? What the
Yeah.
Painesville City Corporation? Most of those things just sitting there in the Painesville City Corporation yard because the money to take care of them, somebody got to put it in the pocket and feed the aggrandizement. So a lot has to be done, but honestly, it first begins with the proper planning and strategic plan put together with a directional purpose. It must have a direction. You can't just come from the clear blue sky and juggling. You must have a defined direction, and you must have a timeline as to what to be accomplished here in first year, in second year, in third, and then it becomes a part of the everyday business of government. And of course, whether leadership after Boakai, once you have the system, really structure, I can imagine that the next government will take over and the next government will take over because the system will have already taken root and the people can benefit because then the people themselves, the citizens themselves will be vested in it. They will be, you know, able to know this is wrong and let's do this right. The last thing I want to put forth, you see the big quota drum that we got in the country there, the big drums.
Yeah.
You can get most of the drums through the what you call when the shipping comes, right?
Mhm.
You take those drums and you pin them up nicely and you put them all over the city.
Yeah, for trash pickup,
Yeah.
yeah.
So people can just dump that in there.
Yeah.
Then you create good publicity, jingles and dramas and stuff, and have the radio instead of when they're doing Ziggy and Jose, they can be using those jingles,
Utilize those
yeah,
people, yeah.
and using the platform of radios, the issues room places where we can continue to propagate that message. That if you see your friend throwing something down, hold him accountable. Even if you got a jacking up by a traffic, jacking up by a traffic, and call the police and say the man dead in the city. I'm telling you, that's the way. But you got to have a holistic approach, but you must also provide the incentives for the people to be able to conform. Because
Yeah.
if you don't have places for them to put a diet, if you don't identify key areas where they can bring the diet, and you're not moving the diet away, the longer the diet stay there, the mountain of heap it will turn into. So everything must work together.
Yeah, and well said. I would just want to come in on that a little bit. Like you said, Volcano, look, uh, there's so much money that the city government can earn. Like the marketing association, you work with the marketing association because the marketing association collect daily fees from the marketeers. So if you are taking money from these people, then you are on an obligation to make sure that places where these people are selling trash is picked up on a daily basis. You charge the marketing association. It can be on a monthly basis, or it can be on a weekly basis, depending on how much it costs in the city government to do that. You say, hey, we're going to charge you hypothetically $100 just for water side. You in Douala, it's going to cost you $200. Red Light is going to cost you this amount of money. You put in place a system that even the marketers themselves will hold their members accountable. Like you say, you have all the beams all around, or you have the drums all around that when someone drinks the water from the water bag, he go and puts his trash right in there. of say your people will pick up trash every day. The guys come in the evening or in the morning hour, they pick her up and go and take it to what the designated area. All we need is a system. What we do not need, because since Mr. Boakai won the presidency, I've seen people or heard about people saying that, oh yeah, Mirror Bro is coming. Look, running a city government should not be about an individual. What we need is a system, because government is continuity. So what happens tomorrow if anything goes wrong with Mirror Bro?
But
Is
stop that.
Mirror?
So
Yeah,
stop that. So stop
yes,
that. Your bro left the city corporation and
yeah.
went to GSA. What
And
happened?
went to GSA.
Well, just what Koji did. But
Nothing.
bluff and hold more press conference talking crap than doing his work.
You are more of a politician
So,
than a
so that's what
being
we're
a city
saying, right?
mayor.
So
Mhm.
Mary Brown left because no system there to hold him accountable. Or if the system was in place, he just didn't have the capability and
Of
the what's
managing.
that word, initiative, the
Yeah,
initiative to want to continue. So
yeah,
it
what he
boils
meant.
down, yeah. So yes, I'm sure some things were in place, but he just neglected because
Yeah.
it came for a purpose: get rich and get out.
Mhm. So whatever system that you put in place, you fund the system and you start what? Also giving out contracts to these private companies that you talk about. So look, my man, you know what? We sublease this trash pickup in Douala to your company. You go and pick it up. All the Lebanese guys, all these businesses that are there, they are charged on a monthly basis. Like you and I here, Volcano. If you don't pay, the people will not pick up. And if the people are not picking up, you're going to run into trouble with your city government. The
Mhm.
trash has to go. So you'll be constrained to do it. You hold people accountable. That's all we need. It should not be about, oh, well, Moses Seni is the only one who can clean Monrovia and he should always be city mayor. No,
And like the
you
town,
just need a system.
like the time we had the late Sam Bernard, he was the only one that. So now it's Sam Bernard going back to LEC, then we see we get caught.
Everybody's celebrating. Yeah.
So we I think we put ourselves around a person
Yeah.
instead of,
Then
like you
creating a
said, the
system.
system,
Yeah.
putting system
Mhm,
in place.
mhm,
So again, some of the things that this government can do,
mhm,
as it goes out there, the need to solicit
mhm.
kinds of funding, the need to talk to sisters cities in some of these places, like here in America, to see what they're doing and how they go about it. Send some of the folks here to be trained and take that knowledge back to set up the system.
Yeah.
But of course, money's got to be in the budget. So when you take away corruption, when you tighten up the screws to the point that nobody has the loophole to steal, then of course when you put that money for the intended purpose, it will be used for that intended purpose. But when you
Absolutely.
don't have the tight screws in place, and can you tell me how can people go to work and spend money with no receipt?
And they tell you, so, oh yeah, we use it for the intended purpose. What are you
Yeah,
talking about? And you come
but you can't
say,
buy anything.
I wait for you. I say, oh, Mr. Shelton, I have to go Broad Street to do some business. I mean, to transact business on behalf of the company. So okay, Mr. Sandy, yeah, is the company's or bank card. How much is this going to cost you? I said, well, chief, it's going to cost $100. I come back and you ask me for the receipt. I get angry with you, oh, the mayor, everything receipt, receipt, receipt. No, it's not about Mr. Shelton. It's accountability.
Mhm.
Mr. Shelton is accountable to the company. So when I say I use $100 as the stationary place, I should bring you the receipt to show that I actually spent $100. If you say you use the city or you use the company's vehicle to go and run an errand, you should report to your manager the errand you went to run. It should be, but you can't take the company car and you go to visit, other people. You say, oh, someone talks about it, you say, oh, man complains about everything. That's what our system is so bad, because nobody wants to account.
Well, let me just address the issue here with Montesumo. Montesumo, I don't think that the other cities are not able to run their city affairs. What is happening is that the city mayor became so zealot that he wanted to become mayor of Liberia. And so he started to infuse his activities in Pingsville and other places, wanting to take charge so that he can be the Lord Mayor. And these people reporting to him as if to say that was how it was structured. No, every city, I studied public administration and local government at the local government level. Every city that is established with its different department, a city manager, and even to the point it has its police force if necessary. It has its parks and recreation. It has a functioning government outside of the county. The county also can have a functioning government outside of the state, which is the
Of
Republic
course,
of
I
Nigeria.
go. Yeah,
And
yeah,
these are the layers of it. But when you have one man running from Monrovia and trying to clean Pinsville and leaving Monrovia, then it means he's usurping the powers of those folks. So I
absolutely.
don't think that these people were able to operate under the context that they found themselves. They just had to say, yeah, Mr. Mayor, because that was the situation. That was the absolute situation. So,
Yeah,
um, but to come back to the issue here, we need to go back to the days prior to the Civil War. We had structures in
yeah.
place. We were not a dirty country to this extent. We were not. It's unfortunate that we have not put attention to something like this. The whole idea of cleanliness must be under the Ministry of Health. So if you want the Ministry of Health to partner with the city governments and the private sector and civil society as one of the implementors in helping to propagate the message and helping to formulate the plan and the way forward, then I would believe that the Ministry of Health should be involved. But when you have a Minister of Health who claims to be a doctor and not an administrator, who doesn't understand the functionalities of how to manage and run, but she's siphoning resources to her private venture, then it takes away what's supposed to happen for the greater good of society. So
Mhm.
many of the time, people are appointed to position, but they're misplaced. The medical doctor should be chief medical officer of the country, not the health minister. The health minister is an executive post. That person should have like a degree in health administration. So I'm just giving you an example of why we all over the place, and that's why we cannot G no haul in the Liberian parlance to move our country forward. But this diet thing is a serious impediment to the health, to the image of our country, and to the growth of our economy. Who want to operate in a dirty place? Who want to live in a dirty place? This
Mhm.
thing creeps your skin, Moses.
Of course, but my man, in other culture, that's why we have problem with tuberculosis. We have problem with yellow fever. We have problem with diarrhea. All because our home environments are not maintained. Our work environments are not maintained. The flies are all over the place. Like you go to Liberia on a consistent basis. You go to the market, and the people are selling over piles of trash, and they are eating as if to
And
say
find
nothing
the
is
color right
happening.
there. The
Yeah,
the mommy pepper color and
yeah,
the roasted fish and the fly sitting on it. And man,
it's sitting on
oh,
there.
man.
You know what it
But
means?
I like what Tara Marshall said. Yeah, yes. President-elect Joe Biden should petition the House to bring in the military. What are men are doing? They fighting war. No war in Liberia. They're just sitting there in the barrier. They're doing nothing. They can come and help to
No,
enforce. And most of us, we have engineering department in the military. So yes, the military can come and help with the process to sustain the process by ensuring that people are following whatever regulations and policies are put in place. They can help to do that in the meantime. I don't think it's a bad idea because we're seeing all hands on deck. This is a systemic issue and you must address it with a systemic approach.
I agree, but like you said earlier, Volcano, the city government has all of the institutions that are needed
Yeah, but we're looking
to
at
run.
but
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
what
but
we
yeah,
do.
but the point I'm making, yeah, is that we should give the city government that opportunity and fund the work of the city government.
But you know that
Look,
it's important to also have people who will be there to help the ordinary. I'm coming the ordinary people who are trying to clean up and the man can put that. If you have the real man to scare him, then not.
look,
But man, the people can go up to the policeman and say, "Try me." you,
yeah,
you
look,
need some kind of force to help to sustain the process, and I think
yeah,
it's a great idea.
yeah. And what you say, Volcano, it just brings us to the most important aspect of this discussion: the rule of law. Volcano, let's use you and I as an example. When you are driving on the express and you're doing 80, 90 miles per hour, and you see a police vehicle ahead of you, parked, what do you do? Nobody is saying nothing to you. You in that vehicle by yourself. You just see the main car sitting there. Don't you reduce your speed immediately?
I mean,
Because
I'm
you
shaking.
already know what it means when you are pulled over, right? That's the kind of system that we want. We don't want people like the way you have Maribel literally running behind people, violently assaulting people, verbally assaulting people, and as a means of enforcing city ordinances. All you need is what? A system.
Yeah, but you need
If
some
the system
guidelines.
say that, if the system says that
This is the country
you
was shut
cannot
up.
park your vehicle here, you just can't park there. That's the law.
Yeah, but then when the enforcers of the law
Mhm.
are not clothed with the absolute authority, meaning they're not positioned to do that. Let me tell you something. You tell a policeman in America who is not armed and everything, he will pull one, he will pull you over and you will stop there to come sit down to talk with him.
Of
No.
course not. But
Okay. So when look out when you haven't been to Liberia, our police officer just walking around the street looking for hustle. They're
but
not even doing job.
that's what I said, Volcano. We need a funding.
But that's
If
what
you
we say.
if,
So
if you
even
not
if you bring
fund
the
if you are not
military,
funding if you are not
listen,
funding the
even
police,
if you bring the military with empty clothes on, just a green fatigue, it's
the
still
same thing will happen.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So what we're saying, all hands on deck, put the resources in there, have the plan, the short term, long term plan,
Mhm.
and sustain it.
Sustain it. That's all you need.
Sustain it.
You don't want Joseph Barker waking up in the morning today. You say, I want Broad Street clean. And no.
Yeah,
Joseph Barker must sit down with a cabinet. They say, look, we want to make sure that Broad Street is clean 24/7.
every day.
How much is this going to cost us? Let the people who know how to do the math, the people who are the planners, let them get to work, formulate the strategies, make sure that it's doable. They have the budgetary allocation before Mr. Barker mounts the podium to say that this is what we're going to do for the city government. And not that you just wake up, you look at the sky, you say, "Oh, I think the city government needs 200,000." When your overhead cost alone is costing you 300,000, but the president said the city government needs 200,000 because the president did not do his homework. These things need to be well planned, well considered. It needs sober reflection. You don't act in the moment. That's the point.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. We just wanted to touch on this. So hopefully, we've given some, inputs here in the process. To reiterate quickly, we need to first identify the landfill. We need to put the cleaning mechanisms in place. Then we need to put city government to work, and even in the private sector, companies who will contract to do the cleaning. We want to make sure we identify sites where the dump will be thrown by our populace, and even in the streets we can pick up those things if it's every Saturday evening and get them out of there, and then uh, we continue to do that. Then at least we keep our city clean to some extent. We have team in the workforce cleaning the gutters, the drainages, and taking those debris. Even here in America, we have dirty places, but at least to a greater extent, uh, the people will come together and say, "Hey, somebody needs to pay attention. Our tax dollars must work
Yeah.
for us."
Mhm.
So that's important. But Moses, in the same token, because the overarching theme here is the lack of rule of law. And
Yes.
the lack of rule of law leads to people throwing garbages everywhere and dirt in the city, and even brave to put it in the new drainages being built
Hmm.
for those new roads.
Yeah.
But the traffic is another concern. Moses, you've never driven in Liberia since you left. Uh,
Well, yeah,
it
if
is
I go by, I will
it is
drive.
the most it is the most uh, chaotic, put it that way, chaotic experience that you will have if for the first time you've gone back and decided to drive. You cannot drive you're gonna rather drive in a place where there's no traffic instruments, put it that way. Traffic instruments. Like the red lights that are functioning very fine between one or two here and there. Uh, and even in the scheme of functioning, no one pays attention to them. Is just by a miracle that people are able to cross the road because the motorcyclists don't slow down. They got no regards. They don't even want to stop because I think stopping for them is they're losing money, or some of them they don't know how to balance on the bike. So when they take off, they just going to take off until 24 hours, however it is.
Wow.
Then you have lawmakers who are very, very the most serious violators,
Mhm.
government officials. All they want to do, put a siren on and take the third lane and create a fourth lane and come onto the incoming traffic, and then you must find a way to push yourself off the road. We don't have stop signs, and even if we had stop signs, they're not paid attention to. If we had you, they're not paid attention to. Even the crossroads, or crosswalks rather, on the roads, they're not paid attention to. If you look at street corners where you have police, directing traffic, sometimes the police is just ceremonious. People barely want to pay attention to him because it's just that lawlessness. Moses, how do we address this? I know that you and I are not trained police traffic officers, but just the
Mhm.
fact that we can drive in a civilized society, and once Liberia had a civilized society, was a civilized society, was a
Yeah.
society that held. I learned to drive in Liberia. I drove in Liberia before coming to the States, so my assimilation was easier because I didn't drive in the chaos there now. I drove
Yeah.
under normal circumstances. You remember the blue
I know. Yeah.
driver's license with all the road sign in it? I think it had about 30 pages or so,
Yeah. I
all the
know. I
different
know you're talking about.
and
Yeah.
everything in our driver's license we had in our traffic ordinance,
Hmm.
and it was comparable to that of America. So
Okay.
when I came with my driver's license and I went to the driving place and I showed it, in fact, the true story, I got pulled over in my first month here. I was driving from Morrisville here to Philly,
Yeah.
and I missed my exit and I panicked because I didn't know anything about exit and what to do. And so I'm turning around. So the police guy saw me, being
You're
erratic.
struggling.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
pulled me over. So he said, "What's going on? Why are you driving?" I said, "No, sir. I just came from Africa. I'm trying to get to Philadelphia, but I think I took the wrong road." He said, "But all you need to do, turn around and go back in that direction, and the signs will tell you whether you continue to where you want to
Yeah.
or go back to where you came from." He said, "But let me see your license and blah blah blah." They ask for that.
Yeah.
I handed him my Liberian passport, my blue book. He
Yeah.
looked at it. He said, "This is a beautiful license." Then he started to flip through it. He said, "But this is comparable to our system here." He said, "But I will not give you a ticket because we don't have you in the system. It will be useless. But take your time. And next time when you miss your exit, don't panic. Just turn around, find a
Yeah.
come back in that direction. And you will see whether north or south, east or west."
Yeah.
But that was to tell you that our driving, driver's license rather,
Yeah. Was
that's
com
important.
is yeah,
Yes,
comparable.
it
Yeah.
was so much important. And I drove on that driver's license until I got my American driver's license.
That was good.
Honestly. So I'm just giving you an example of where we are now as a country where everything has broken
Oh,
down.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, you said it. What is happening in Volcano is, look, the UP has a lot of work to do. Mr. Boakai is coming in, is taking over a country that experienced 6 years of lawlessness. The entire system is broken down. Mr. Weir and his people pay little or no attention to the rule of law. You got people who call themselves lawmakers arrogating law unto themselves. They are the untouchable, or they were the untouchable in the Weir administration. So what do you call turling? The roads are so terrible. The roads don't even have shoulder. Can you imagine Volcano, like you're saying, the system that you and I know? You get to a traffic light, coming with the American orientation. You get to that traffic light, the light is red, you're going to stop. You're not just going to run through, because when you run through, you're risking your life and you're risking the lives of other drivers as well, and even pedestrians. So you're going to be sitting there. I am told when you are sitting at a traffic light, the people keep honking their horns. Oh, you stupid, excuse me for the expression. Look at you. What are you doing? Go. Go. Can you imagine driving in such a chaotic environment? So, what do we need to do? A lot of public education. Mr. Boakai, the police has to be financed, equipped. The city government is saying, if you really want as peaceful, as stable, a country that will adhere to the rule of law, there got to be a lot of investment, a lot of education to reorientate the minds of the people. You don't want a police officer pulling Moses Sandy over. Moses Sandy takes the phone and calls Volcano Shelton, and Mr. Shelton said, look, Mr. Shelton hypothetically works for the police. He's one of the senior guys. He said, look, Moses gave the officer your phone. Let me talk to him. I'm told that what happens in Liberia. Mm-hmm. And the poor officer comes on the phone. He said, look, let the man go. He said, oh, Chief, I said, I'm telling you, let the man go. Or you're telling him now, let Moses go. The poor officer feel what? Embarrassed, intimidated, and Moses is going to go with impunity. We don't need that. Everybody, regardless of where you sit, who you know, everybody should be held at the same standard. Everybody should be treated similar way. When someone breaks the law must take its course. That's the only way, Volcano. They need to do away with the whole thing they call telling. If you're a lawmaker, you're running late, you just running late. Volcano Shelton is ahead of you. You can be doing 100 miles in a residential zone. The police should pull you over because you're risking the safety of other people. Oh, my man, the mayor convoy is coming. Because what? You work in the legislature? You think your life is more valuable than my life? You can't do that.
So you talk about something here that I wanted to point out quick. Mm-hmm. How these things can be supported. Knowing from my experience here in this country, and I would believe in many places where there's a serious development and system in place, I think that the police force should be able to generate this money from all of these traffic violations, a lot of this money, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. But if they are not positioned in the onset, right, mm-hmm. with the logistics, and say, hey, okay, we're going to buy you 200 police cars. We're going to get you 200 police motorbikes. We're going to get you your uniforms, your platoon, your guns, your badges, everything. So we're going to put $50 million in the police force. instead of putting it in the CDC campaign. All right, we're going to put
Yeah.
$50 million in the police force,
Yeah.
but we want to save in the next 5 years. You must generate income, not to say we're not going to continue to subsidize because you're in the budget,
Mm-hmm.
but at least to an appreciable a position of being an organic organization. You should be able to raise some money,
Generate money. Yeah.
and those monies cannot be raised with corruption. Those money must be raised in keeping with the law, in keeping with the ordinances and the violations.
Mm-hmm.
And when we get to the city traffic court, let the judge be the one to say, okay, you know what, you were wrong here, you were good here, or we'll reduce the fine.
Mm-hmm.
But fine the people, give them the ticket, dock it, put it in the computer system, give people tablets.
Of course.
Give people tablets. They can use the
Mm-hmm.
tablets.
Police officers, yeah,
You
issue the
know,
ticket,
the man,
enter
no,
into the system.
you
Yeah.
ain't got to take the man's license. You
Yeah.
just take a picture of the man's license,
Mm-hmm.
put it fine there, put a ticket number, take his license number, put it on your ticket, and hang the ticket. So you got a license, you got a ticket number, the license number, the ticket number, and now there's no way he's gonna run.
No.
Because tomorrow, if it's not paid, as soon as you start picking up people for violation of traffic offense and stuff and not paying or coming to court, you will see the system will start
Of
like.
course. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the police must also make some monies. They must
Yeah.
be able to generate. Oh, Alfonso is here. Let me bring him in. Alfonso, I know you're following the conversation, but welcome. Let me just continue and finish up my thought, then you're coming. So that's what we need to do. We need to find a way that the police force can be able to generate this money. Instead of them taking the money and putting it in the pocket, the man catch me on the corner. He said, "You bow-legged parking." Then he said, "Give me a lesson." I gave him a lesson. He walks away. He walks away with my license. So now I'm mad. I jump out of the car, go follow him.
Yeah, say, man, that you boleke,
Take
thing
you
don't
home.
bring it. Yeah.
You touching the police officer. You putting your hand on police. No, officer, but you can't take my lesson. I gotta go. All right. He followed me again. He can't. He sit in my car for another 15 minutes.
Can you imagine that?
So all I want,
What
and I
is the essence of doing
yeah,
that?
when he was just given a ticket,
A
if it was
ticket.
systematically designed, you know how much money the police would make. I
Mm-hmm.
go to Liberia, I see the bad driving.
Mm-hmm.
I see the man will stop literally in the middle of the intersection.
Yeah.
The intersection. So he holds the traffic or to put one passenger down. Who told him say I'm stopping right here instead of him telling that passenger say nobody we can't stop here. I'll carry you from small because I can't block the traffic. No, you will
Mm-hmm.
stop there. And then
Yeah.
people blowing home.
Everybody waiting. Yeah.
Money the police can raise
Mm-hmm.
to help. So I just thought that everything can be government. Government will take care of some payroll thing, but at the end of the day, police should be able to fund their
They
logistics.
can raise money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to fund their logistics. Alfonso coming.
Yeah, sorry guys. I was following as I was driving, which I shouldn't be doing, but I was on the cell phone following the show. Yes, great
Oh, you
conversation.
were listening.
I was listening. I was,
Yeah.
yeah,
So you
I
were
was
good.
listening. So you're right, listening. So nothing really wrong. But yeah, I was following the show, and I think it's great conversation. Topics are great. We have a lot of problems in that country, and Mr. Boakai and his group of people are inheriting a whole lot of mess.
Yeah,
You know,
that's true.
just everything you've been talking about, from collecting trash and garbage from the streets to just police, people driving in the street. Bribery has consumed our country. Corruption and bribery. Everybody wants cold water. Everybody wants bribe in order to do their job, even though they are being paid by the government, the taxpayers to serve the people. Every sector of government, of public service, public servants feel that that they don't even feel that sense of
Belong. Yeah.
service
Sense of service. Yeah.
to the people. The ministers and the representative senator think they are gods, and people just supposed to be dancing behind them. People line up in front of their houses so they can get a few bag of rice,
Mhm.
instead of doing things and programs to empower the people. So the people don't have to get up from their houses and can't stay in front of your office, or can't stay in front of your house your whole get, just so you can get them for money dependent upon you.
Mhm.
That is wrong. So this administration is inheriting a whole lot. We need a total culture change. And both of you touched on it. Even the citizens themselves, there has to be some sense of civic responsibility. Civic duty. You go to some
Mhm.
communities in this place, you drop something on the ground, somebody will tell you to pick it up. It's not police. The police is not there.
Yeah.
So tell you, no, you really? No, you gotta pick it up. You can't do that. So we ourselves, Liberian people ourselves, have to also have that civic sense of civic duty. In the past, real quickly, um, we used to get in line for buses. To
Mhm.
get on the bus, you get in line and wait your turn. To get on the taxi, we did. Now people fighting.
Oh
Everybody's.
yeah, people fight though.
We need a total culture change. And finally, what I would say, human beings in general can be conditioned, but Liberian people are very susceptible to being conditioned. Once they see an example, once they see enforcement, they will follow suit. Liberians, layman term, not to be derogatory, we are followers. When we have bad leaders, we follow their bad examples. When we have good leaders, we follow their good examples. So I hope this administration really comes with good examples that the people can follow because a lot needs to happen in that country.
Thank you. If you just joining us, welcome to our broadcast here in the Issues Room. This is our 203rd production here tonight. We like to encourage you to stay with us. We have two more topics to go by. The panpan removal from the city immediate environs, and Nathaniel McGill embracing the audit. I'm Volcano Shelton, Alphonso Yeno, and Moses Sandy. We say thank you for being there with us tonight. We're here Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome to all of you. Continue to share the link and invite others to join us. So, still in the lane of what we're talking about here, Moses,
Mhm.
uh, because part of this whole ugliness in the traffic, the lack of following the traffic rule, it is the uh, conduct of many of the bikers.
Mhm.
These guys have gotten in the millions just within Monrovia, Moses. Someday they just come like a bumblebees and they just come coming down the road. You will stand there for for a period of time trying to cross, and no one
Hmm.
will signal you to say they're giving you an opportunity. The speed breakers they put on places like GSA Road, for example. You know, when you put the speed breaker on the road, you don't put it until it hits the sidewalk. You leave a
Mhm.
little gap so that rainwater can pass. And that space, that's where they're just going through both sides.
Yeah.
So as a result, the speed breaker are supposed to slow them down. So if you're running across the road, you're able to get across the road before they even take off. It's not happening.
Yeah.
So the pen has been a good transportation source in the grand scheme of things, but it's also been a destruction to the ordinances of traffic regulations. It's also been non-abiding. You understand me? To ensuring safety for lives and properties. There's no identifier. Many of the bikes they don't have no identification, and so when they do something, they just run. I will tell you the other night I was standing on Buchanan Street. I turned the corner and I was trying to look at my phone, and this biker guy I saw him. He went in front toward Center Street because yes, Buchanan going towards Center, and then he turns around. So when he turns around, apparently the other guys who are the security guys at this place opposite the National Museum were looking, and this guy came, a man, like he was about to jack my phone. But he came so close to me, I felt the wind and I just stepped back. Then he looked behind. Then the other guy yelled from across the road, "My man, you lucky. He was trying to steal your phone." So they're using the bikes now as means of perpetrating crimes, not just for stealing. They're using the bike to carry on dangerous deeds and then run. So we need to do something about this bike thing, especially in our capital city and its environs. If we're gonna have it there, from my perspective, then there must be a serious regulation that says one passenger to a biker with helmet, with uniform, with license plate. If it even say Monrovia, the other one say Pinsville, the other one say Ghana, so we can know where those bikes are registered according to the license plate. I was thinking about it. But we can just have this guy wake up in the morning with slippers on the main, brush your teeth. Then you catch a ride behind you, ask him, say, you tell him, he say, where you going? Then he ask you where you going. His breath want to throw you off the bike. He take shower. Just how he woke up. The people literally ride with slippers on, short trousers, just how they woke up. And they call themselves bikers and they're all over the place. Something has to be done. We understand that the Liberian people have gotten so used to it, but at the end of the day, while you got used to, we can undo it and make it better. That's my thought.
Well, what I would say, let's look at the pros and the cons of having motorbikes or having motorcyclists in Liberia. As a country that is faced with serious transportation, problem, uh, having motorcyclists, you know, um, help people move from one location to another. That's laudable. It's a very laudable thing. They are helping to ease the problem of transportation in the country. That is also helping to generate money,
Unemployed
for
people.
individual, for the unemployed, creating, helping to provide daily meal for their respective families. So we commend them for that. Now, that does not in any way mean that we should just allow anybody to roam the street. You're a motorcyclist, like you said, and this that just fall in the category of the corns of this matter. You see motorcyclists in the country that have become law unto themselves. I am told if you are driving and you mistakenly run into a motorcyclist or a motorcyclist run into your vehicle, if you don't escape, you run the risk of being harmed by those people. They are physically attacking people. They are literally helping criminals get away. I'm sure you remember what happened at the UP headquarters. The getaway person that helped that individual to flee the scene was a motorcyclist. So this come to say that there's a need to control this problem. And I know the guys are very smart. When George Weah was elected, the motorcyclists pledged full support to his leadership. Everywhere he went, they were with him. When Mr. Boakai was running to be president, they also pledged political support. But that does not mean that the UP government is going to sit back and allow these people to become law unto themselves. A society is never run like that. You need a system. So this is where I agree with you, Volcano. Again, um, look, government can make a lot of money. You ask the guys who are plying the streets of Monrovia with motorbikes that, hey, before you put your motorbike in the street, this motorbike has to be registered, especially whether used for commercial or private reason. It must be registered. That will be income for the government. And there got to be specific regulation. You cannot ride a motorbike without helmet. If it is for commercial reason, you cannot ride a motorbike with more than or two persons on a motorbike. If the motorbike has the capability of taking three-person, that's acceptable. But you cannot have someone riding a motorbike with a case of beer on his head at the same time riding the motorbike at 100 miles per hour.
I mean, I saw the rider and two guys with a panel door on their head the other
Yeah,
day.
can you imagine that?
The panel door, the man put it on top of their heads. So
Yeah,
the rider holding the panel door with one hand trying to navigate.
yeah. And the man in the bike too holding it.
The
Yeah,
other two men are holding the panel door
yeah.
and then they go. Can you imagine?
that's self in you
Endanger,
endangering the
yeah,
life,
yeah.
self in endangerment,
That's a
you
public
endangering
safety
your
matter.
personal, yeah, you endangering your personal safety and the safety of other people, because you could be doing that, you run into somebody and kill the person. Someone can run into you and kill you. Do you know the number of amputees that we have in the country today as a result of being motorcyclists? Go to JFK. I am told there's a significant hike in accidents,
Yeah,
motorbike related
yeah, yeah. They
accidents.
said they got a special ward for them.
Yes, these guys have become law unto themselves. So we need a system that will be able to control this. If you are restricted to Painesville, you are restricted to Painesville. If you are riding your motorbike in Monrovia, you're part of a system that will control this thing here. The police should be, when the police sees a motorcyclist that is actually violating or is engaging in any act that puts the safety of other people at risk, that motorcyclist should be arrested, charged, and prosecuted. Everybody should be held accountable. So we talk about accountability. We're not saying that, oh well, um, only hold people who stole money. No, the rule of law should apply. That's accountability. When someone breaks the law, that person should be held liable for breaking the law.
So let's come down to
Yes.
streamlining. I'll bring in Alphonso.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things, and I'm saying it because for firsthand, I was just there, and
Yes.
I'm telling you the numbers are increasing by the minute. And these importers, meaning the Indians, the Lebanese, they don't care nowadays. It's a fashion for them. This is a money making machinery, and they're just bringing these Bajaj, these TVSs, the Keke. They got different kinds, and they just keep importing them, and it's just out of hand.
Yeah.
Do you think that the new Ministry of Commerce under the Joe Boakai government should say, hey, no more importation of these things? Let the one that here start spoiling first so we can draw our attention. I mean, it's just my thought because you got to stop the bleeding to be able to heal the wound. You can't just leave it loose and they keep importing. And the motorbike now is becoming anybody can own one, anybody can ride one. I mean, you see 13 years old running transportation. What sense that man understand in terms of even if there were traffic regulations, how does he read it and comprehend it? He's not matured. So Alfonso, what do you think? Stop the bleeding?
Yeah, we have to stop the bleeding in several respects by doing many, many things. So I'll
Listen to
You
what these
see
begin.
the
guys.
mess there?
Yeah, the
Even corpses are transported
transporting
by
on motorcycle.
Yeah,
motorcyclists in some
yeah.
parts of Liberia. Can you
So
imagine? How
I
do
will
you do that?
start with I will start with the issue of motorbikes. I think motorbikes need to be eliminated as a source of transport, as a mode of transportation in Liberia. They're dangerous, they're not safe, they're not meant to be modes of transportation. I wonder, you just coming from the volcano, even if the rider has a helmet, does the rider give passengers helmets to wear? I
That's my
don't think.
proposition. That's my
That
proposition.
would be one of the
Obviously, that
Yeah,
requirements that you give
yeah.
your
So that
riders
is,
a helmet
yeah.
as well.
So So that is a problem. There are riders who are sitting behind a motorbike that they don't have helmets on. That is a safety issue. Motorbikes are simply just unsafe. That's why in many places around the world they are not used as mode of transportation. They're very, very unsafe. You can't be riding motorbike transporting people around. Many people, as you both have said, many people have gotten hurt, lost limbs, people have died. I've lost a cousin. He wasn't riding a motorbike, he was a passenger. He was sitting behind the guy. As the guy was trying to weave his way, through, cars, his
Mhm.
leg hit another car. The guy turned it in and it hit him against the car and he drove off the motorbike, cracked his skull and died. So that it's not a safe means of transportation and it should be eliminated in my view. Now, in the past, my understanding is that under the alien administration, They were confined. I think one of our listeners, Flomo Livingston, mentioned something along those lines. They were confined to the local areas, so in communities. So the
But that was
taxi
later
or
on.
wallet,
That was even later on when they started
that was
over.
later. Yeah, when they started overwhelming the city, that's when that directive was passed, and they were now just going. Like the taxi takes you from downtown Monrovia, and then you get to Bonavie Estate, for example. Then the
Then they take
motorbike can transport people from there.
to Deborah,
That then take
Deborah,
you inside.
call it driver market,
Yeah,
and Deborah over.
yeah. So that,
And
that was a system that
carry
was
to
in place.
Tobo Village to Mose hometown,
Yeah,
Tobo Village.
yeah.
Get me to
But
Tubo Village.
it
Yeah.
Cars are a little safer because at least you have that you're sitting
Yeah,
inside something.
yeah,
Even though they
tricycle.
also,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a tricycle. It's not a bicycle, it's a tricycle. So at least it's safer. There's balance and there's stuff. And then of course there's covering. So just in case something happens, at least there's a little protection against you and the elements out there. So I think eventually, I mean, it'll take time. Nobody should come and just outright, let's say today we ban all motorbikes. Maybe we can begin with the process of saying motorbikes go local roads. That will reduce, because all of these are contributing to the traffic problem I heard you talking about earlier when I was listening. The
Absolutely.
roads are simply overcrowded with all kinds of vehicles. Here, what do you see here, right? There are bicycles to use the road, but bicycles have bike lanes, so they're not getting in the way of regular traffic and therefore not slowing down regular traffic. In the absence of that, that's one of the reasons, in addition to the fact we don't have enough roads, but that's one of the reasons why we have a lot of traffic situations, because we have these slow moving vehicles. We have these unsafe vehicles making maneuvers in the streets, in between cars, and all of that. That is contributing to the traffic situation, which then it's a safety hazard, and that's why we have all of the problems we have. So I think bikes should be eliminated. KKs can still come, but you're right.
But Wellington,
Moravia is,
they say none of them are safe. Maybe she
yeah.
experienced
eh, No, she's right. So eventually, they should go to the leeward counties where transportation is
And our
problem
old
is
man
actually.
say, Adia say she prefer the keke over the motorcycle.
Yeah,
I think
yeah, yeah.
because you get at least some kind of covering over you.
It has a
Yeah,
covering. It has some safety. So when it if the to answer to respond to your question earlier about whether we should put a ban on KKs and stuff coming into the country, I think KKs can come, but it should be sent to the leeward counties where there's an acute transportation problem.
you mean
You know,
pimping? You mean pimping?
Pen Pen. Okay, I don't know the difference.
Yeah,
Sorry, Pen
pimping,
Pen.
pimping is the bike, keke is the tricycle.
Oh, okay. No, so bikes should not. I think bikes should be eventually eliminated altogether. Motorbikes, the bicycles should be eliminated. The tricycles. I mean, there are many countries around the world that use tricycles for
Mhm.
transportation.
India is a
Yeah, it's because of population and all of
Nigeria
that,
too.
car problem and stuff. So, but I would say let's reduce their number in Monrovia in the big cities that are already saturated, and let them, go to the leeward counties like, Buchanan. It's the cheaper, so people can buy them and help them in those counties, as opposed to people, struggling to buy real cars to use. Those tricycles can help in those counties with transportation and stuff. But I think so. Not ban them outright, but put a regulation in place that say these cities are saturated. You can't come here anymore. You can just send them to the counties where they can be of better use, and where they are needed.
Let me just
That
add
would
this
be.
in quickly.
So yeah.
Let me add this in because you thought
Mhm.
that there's a strap in transportation. That's not the case. There's
Mhm.
a lot of taxis in Liberia competing with those pimping boys. There's a lot of
Okay.
buses in the country.
Mhm.
So what you need to do, go back to the NTA, revamp the NTA,
Mhm.
and put some new buses out there.
Mhm.
Get some bilateral, relationship with Liberia and India. They don't put Joseph Boakai name on the bus and say he donated it. Don't do those things. You know, bring some buses, get the NTA swinging again, that they must be able to pay themselves, just like we suggested that the police in part should be
Yeah.
able to pay itself by the generation of income through ticketing and all of that. The NTA should be able to generate income through transportation means, public
Mhm.
transportation for private citizens who own the taxis cab. Look, there's a lot of taxis running in the country, private cars turning into taxis, you know. So a lot
Yeah.
of things can be done within Monrovia and its environs, which is safer. And not only that, I'll be honest with you, the taxis are cheaper than the motorbike. If I left from Syncor
Mm.
to ERW Junction, because nowadays they put you down to where they want to put you down. If I left from Single to EW Junction, because you can't cross EW, I think you saw the picture. That whole place is messed up. So they'll put you down to the front part of the junction. Then you probably go through AB Tower, or the bike will take you through that bad part, passing from the LBS and take you to GS0. So if I left from Syncor, I would pay $150 Liberty. On a motorbike from Syncor to EW Junction, like 300 to $350.
Wow.
All because they're
Mhm.
fast. They're able to weave and bob and weave and take you to your destination within the shortest possible time, compared to a taxi that may have to endure some degree of traffic. But you're safe in the taxi. So what I
Yeah.
did some days, I didn't want to drive because I just got fed up with all that chaos. I would take a taxi cab. When I take the taxi cab, it puts me down to ELW Junction for $150, then $50 on ELW Junction to GS0. So that's $200. That's the economics. If I
Yeah.
were to take a bike straight from town, they're charging me $450 to $500.
Wow.
So I'm able to go to Painesville and come back
Yeah.
on one way price if I were to use the bike. So
Okay.
there's public transportation in town. It's just we must control this thing, because Moses and Alphonso and our audience here, those of you who've been to Liberia, this thing is a serious chaos, and it's not getting better. One day I was talking to somebody, the person was yelling to say, oh God, too many bikes. I won't try to cross this boulevard. I can't cross the boulevard. Imagine how wide is the boulevard. Imagine how wide is the boulevard, and they're not slowing down. The guys got no regards for safety.
Yeah.
I mean, Moses, some of the pictures you will see, the way the guy rides and the number of people. Listen, I saw another one. The guy is practically almost sitting on the handlebar. Then he's like this. He's almost sitting on the, so he's sitting on the gas tank of the motorbike. He's on the gas tank. And so how do you balance yourself when you should be free to keep that distance
Yeah.
between you? So the man is here. Then the little two children behind him, the pregnant woman with her stomach pushing against the children, then the pa behind the pregnant woman and holding the one bag of rice on her head.
Oh, come on now. That's insanity, man.
I'm telling you. So the whole family and the one bag of rice. So if something happen, who will eat that rest? If something happens,
I mean, that's high degree of insanity
who will
right
eat the rest?
there. Yeah.
But these are serious pictures I'm painting to you, and they are real.
Yeah.
They're in real time.
Yeah.
It's a reality.
Mhm.
The
But
rider,
look,
the two
Yeah.
little children, the pregnant woman with a baby in her stomach pushing the children against the rider, the
Can you
husband
imagine?
behind the wife and holding a bag of rice on her head, and they're going.
Mhm. Yeah.
Serious stuff.
Yeah. But look, well said, you guys made some salient points. But this is I mean, this would be my own proposition. Look, the problem of motorbikes not restricted to Liberia. You go to Sierra Leone, the problem is the same. We have the guys plying the streets in Nigeria and other places as well in Africa. Um, let's come back to Liberia specifically. One good thing, having motorbikes in the streets of Monrovia and other parts of Liberia. One good thing about that is that the motorbikes have created opportunity for people to easily travel to areas that are not accessible
But look at what she says.
by
Well, let's say
the
it takes you to your door compared to the taxi.
You see that?
The pimping
They,
takes you to your location,
yeah, you see,
directly to your spot.
and Volcano, just to buttress the point that she made, you go to Liberia all the time. I think the other time you were talking about a gentleman who constructed a real decent home, and someone just came and barricaded his driveway. He has a vehicle,
But he can't
but he
reach
has to park the
back to the gas
vehicle
station.
miles and walk home. Can you imagine? So when someone needs to get somewhere places easily, the motorbikes provide that opportunity. Now, what do we do to make sure that people are doing this thing here, but with some level of safety measures being put in place? Make sure that the motorbikes are registered. The registration is a
Helmet,
rider
use
and
of
one
helmet.
passenger. You don't want to see a motorcyclist riding with a door or say a case of beer on his head or carrying some heavy objects. When the police officer sees that, that person should be pulled over, the motorbike impounded. All we need to do, let us support our security system, invest money into policing. The police will be on the outlook, control areas that these guys can go to, provide education, and hold them accountable. That would be my advice. You don't want to just come in and say, oh well, you know what? Uh, uh, we're gonna put an end to motorbikes plying the streets of Monrovia. That would be a serious problem for you as a government
Okay,
because these people are citizens.
agree, agree.
Yes.
But some
Mhm.
mechanism should be put in place. The number
Yes.
to call 404-272-2808, 404-272-2808. Call us here. Let's be a part of this topic if you want to weigh in. And from the beginning, you can weigh in on the issue of the um, cleanliness of the city. You can weigh in on the issue of traffic regulations, the enforcement of traffic regulations, and you can also weigh in on the current topic here, the pimping. Now, the last thing here we want to talk about tonight is Moses. You have the background story, but again, it's no secret to
Yeah.
anyone here.
I love
Uh,
it.
you know, Nathaniel McGill once served as the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs within the outgoing government in the coming months. And in fact, based on the activities of Mr. McGill, the United States government sanctioned him and two out of his colleagues who were in the business of impeding growth for the country,
Right.
meaning they were trying to get kickbacks,
Yeah.
they were stifling negotiations,
Mhm.
they were creating bogus companies to take government contract. They were just overall corrupt.
Mhm.
But McGill, in particular, even justified during one of his conversation with an audience where he said, "The people say we can steal, but if we steal, we're keeping the money here and the houses we're building, and blah blah blah." He didn't say, "Oh, this stealing thing that people talking about a lie.
Mhm. Mhm.
Who am I to steal?" And he came out to justify that. And of course, we had listened, but they didn't persecute. Just took him from the position, and that same money, he found his way to campaign. He found his way to do some things in Margibi County. He promised to build all the roads in Margibi County. So they call it the 419. He fooled the people, and people voted for him. So he's sitting pretty right now with the intent to take his seat prior to the inauguration.
Mhm.
Moses,
Yeah.
Daniel McGill say he embraces the audit
Yeah.
because he knows that he's a clean man.
Yeah.
Do you believe it?
Oh, Liberian politicians are very cunning. That could be applauded by Mr. McGay, even though he knows that he has some stains on his public records. But you say, well, I'm going to say I want an audit. That's good. It sounds real plausible for someone who was kicked out of government who was sanctioned by the Treasury Department, along with two others, as a result of they being engaged in acts of dishonesty. For him to call for an audit, that's plausible. We should say thank you, Mr. McGill. So what Mr. McGill has said, I think is something that President Weir and other executives of the ruling CDC uh, should also welcome, because this is coming from one of theirs. It is seditious that running the streets of Monrovia, calling people abroad, making all these statements that if you call for an audit, that would be a witch hunt. I have heard Akawas Gray say that. I've heard Jefferson Koji say, if you think that you can intimidate us, the CDC is very strong. And they're making all these preposterous statements as a means of intimidating the incoming administration. So to see one of theirs, especially someone, an alleged criminal, coming to say, oh, yeah, I want an audit, I think Liberians should go for it. And let's use McGay, let's put McGay on a pedestal, that even this man that is unsanctioned for reported fraud, for reported dishonesty, is asking for an audit. We will have an audit. And please, we will start the audit with Mr. McGill. So my appeal to President-elect Joseph Boakai and his executive immediately taking over, Mr. President. I want your supporters to listen to me tonight. Immediately taking over the leadership on the 22nd of 2024, Mr. President. Please, within 1 month time, we want you to reach out to the U.S. Treasury Department or the U.S. government and ask for the reopening, for the support, the evidence, so that your government can collaborate, can support, the process in bringing Mr. McGill, Mr. Bill Tuawe, Serena Seaforth. Let's start the audit with these guys first. Mr. McGill said he welcomes audit. Let's put him under the microscope. Let us scrutinize and let him tell the people of Liberia, this is a man in 2017, as per his own definition, $30,000 was too much of a money for anyone to make on an annual basis. So he became Minister of State in less than a year. He accumulated properties all over the country. Let Minister McGill, or former Minister McGill, now the senator elect, let him tell the people of Liberia where he got his overnight riches from. People want to know if there's anything that he can do to counter the many allegations against him from the U.S. Treasury Department. We welcome that. Please, Mr. President, President Joseph Boakai, please do Liberia a favor. Please do the issue room a favor. Give Nathaniel McGill, Bill Travis, Serena Seaforth, let these guys have their days in court. When you finish with them, you turn to President George Weah. You turn to other criminals in his administration, Samuel Tue, and all these people, let them have their days in court. Jefferson Koji, let him have his day in court. Let these people come and tell the people of Liberia where they got all the riches overnight. Liberians are waiting to hear from you on this, Mr. President. This will be a very good beginning. This will not be a witch hunt. I have heard seditians say that, oh, well, if you institute an audit, it will be a witch hunt because you will be going after only people from the CDC administration. They also want an audit of the past administration. Laudable statement. We agree. But if they came to power 6 years ago and they chose not to do an audit, that cannot be a basis for anyone to say that your administration cannot audit the George Weah administration. So please, Mr. President, let's start with Mr. McGill. Let Mr. McGill be the first. And if he's found liable, Bill 12 will found liable, these people should be removed. Let them not be given the opportunity to serve in government. Because if they are found liable, they should be prosecuted and let them serve the time in prison. That would be my appeal, Mr. President.
Let's hear from Alfonso. He's a legal mind.
Yeah, thank you. I think the whole thing about witch hunt is nonsense. Nobody should pay attention to it. In fact, the people, everybody, once you work in government, it's your not just government. Everywhere you work, but especially so in government, you should be interested in how the resources of the country of the institution are managed. So that I'm taken aback by we and people saying, "Oh, it's don't audit us because of witch hunt." Audit helps the person who's being audited, as well as the person who's auditing, who's inheriting, but also the
Or the
public in
person who's
general.
accusing. Or the person who's accusing.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So why should anybody be afraid of audit? But my girl and those, unfortunately, there's no real mechanism right now to stop them from being seated because they haven't been charged and they haven't been taken to court, so they will get seated. But eventually, I agree with you. A process should be put
Yeah.
into place
And put in
to
place. Yeah.
to to investigate them. And I welcome, his welcoming of an investigation. I know an investigation will be done. The U.S. Treasury Department laid out specific acts that they committed. There is evidence to that. The Liberian government itself has evidence to that. It's just that Mr. Weir refused to pursue it. Let me just read a few things that the U.S. Treasury Department said. McGill manipulated public procurement processes to award multi-million-dollar contracts to companies in which he has ownership, and used government funds allocated to other Liberian government institutions to run his own projects. He also made off the books payments in cash to senior government leaders and organized warlords to threaten political rivals. That's McGill. So the contracts that he awarded, that people are talking about, is there. The evidence is there. The contracts were awarded to people. There was a process to reward it. There's documentation to that effect. Let's take him to court. Let's see whether he can argue that. I'll jump over C first and I'll go to 12. 12 orchestrated the diversion of $1.5 million in vessel storage fee funds from the MPA into a private account and formed a private company to which he later unilaterally awarded a contract for loading and unloading cargo at the port of Buchanan. Now,
Yeah.
again, these are specific allegations. Nobody just jump in and say in the air, oh, the man baby hustle, he corrupt. They say, no,
Mm-hmm.
you diverted 1.5. How would
Mm-hmm.
they know that you diverted $1.5 million to your personal account if they don't have evidence to that
They
fact?
don't
If they
have.
don't have anything. So, of course, these guys cannot escape. The evidence is clear. Even before the Treasury Department came up with the sanctions, we all knew Bill Twelve had formed a company, his own company, that his brother was running, that was loading and unloading at the port of Buchanan. We knew that. It was open secret. We also knew that Mr. McGill and Mr. Weir, it was reported, had shares in those companies. That's how the companies operated. All of that is clear. So definitely, I think we need to hold Mr. Boakai accountable, President Led Boakai accountable when he takes office, that he must go after these people and take the Liberian people money back from them. By doing what they did, people died as a result. By doing what they did, people got more impoverished as a result. Liberians couldn't get jobs. The processes were undermined. Democracy was undermined. The economy of the country was undermined. So these guys cannot be allowed to go free. And it's on Mr. Barker's shoulder to make sure that that happens. Liberia needs a break from this whole corruption thing going back and forth. You saw my gay house in Monrovia. I mean, this, as Moses said, there's a man who came when they were running,
Mm-hmm.
CDC were running. There's a man who came to
First
Philadelphia
everything.
and said, "You'll make a lot of money here. Some of y'all
$30,000.
make $30,000." And the people in the hall were laughing. $30,000
They
you
were
make.
bought into laughter, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is to say that the man didn't even know the value, like what money is. Now this
Mm-hmm.
man is crossing $1 million deals and holding million, coming
Mm-hmm.
and pledging. How much did he plan to you pledge to Eula? and those kinds of nonsense.
Yeah,
But we should go after this.
$100,000. Yeah, and,
Yeah, accountability cannot be compromised by this new administration, or else that would be their downfall. Real quickly, Liberians voted for two things before, right after the first round, before the second round. Gallup, the Gallup polling company here in America that does polling around the world, did polling in Liberia. They poll Liberians and said, poll Liberian voters and said, why, when you go to the polls, what are the issues that concern you most that you'll be voting on? The two issues, and are the two issues we're discussing here tonight. Liberian voters said corruption and security. Corruption and security. We want somebody who can fight corruption. We're tired. The economy is suffering. We're suffering because of that. We want security. We can't even walk at night in our communities. We get attacked. People steal from us. So those are the two issues that will be voting on. And that poll, the results of that poll was published, where they said any candidate, any one or two candidates that really comes on top on these two issues will win the runoff. And Boakai hammered those issues, talking about fighting corruption,
accountability. Yeah.
and stuff, and he won the elections. That's exactly what the Liberian people expect of him, and that is what he must do, or else they will turn against him, and we all will join that caravan.
Thank you. And I think you guys said it, and let us not dwell on it, Moses.
Mm.
He's already challenged the situation and say, so let's just no, Moses.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
We're going by time here. I want you,
I know.
but I'm not going to dwell on it more than you guys have said it. What I'm saying is that what you did was you held President-elect Boakai foot to the fire.
Mm.
Grabbed the documentation from since his predecessor
Yep.
failed to do what was expected. But Nat McGill can just sit around here and make noise about bring the audit.
Yeah, bring the
If,
audit.
this,
Yeah.
if the Americans say that you've done something, you've done something.
What are you talking about?
You've done something.
America, you play with?
Not in America now. You're saying, oh, spoon. And let Daniel casse. You're running around. You think that they didn't do the homework before they came to the limelight? American would never just come out here and throw it at you. They must have done the homework to say, hey, Nathan. And the things you read, Alphonso, they are very, very damning. So it's not easy for you to just speculate or make up that.
Yep.
There must be some absolute facts and truth to them. And I'm sure part of that visit of President Weah at the CIA was to throw some of those things at him and say, hey, man, listen, we'll not just do this because we want to badmouth your government or we want to just throw jabs at your chief lieutenants. That's the fact. That's the fact. So I'm not coming here to say, I'm just praying that Boakai will listen and Boakai will take the action. And like you looked in the camera and said to him, let him not be the first man. Put him on it.
Let a man be the first. He called for it. Let set the example. Yeah.
But just before we leave and go to the other last two segments in the program, River Says Pro, my good friend, young brother, who I love so dearly, has gone wild. You know when the people say the deer gone buck wild? River Says Pro has just become so disgruntled that I tried to clean him in many ways. I tried to bring him back to sanity. At the end of the day, River Says Pro, the beauty of Liberia, the betterment of Liberia, all of us will enjoy it. River Says Pro, you couldn't have enjoyed Liberia under the last 6 years. So River Says Pro, what we need to pray for is a new renaissance, a renaissance that will change the country for the better of all of us. This is not about partisans. This is not about alignment with a political institution or what have you. This is about the greater good of the country. River Says Pro, all the cartoon you say you're pushing in Wisconsin, my Peking, you want to take your money and turn it into something good in Liberia. Why are you so mad? Why are you accusing Boakai of killing so soon? Hey, River Says Pro, we can't go down this road. All the people now getting vexed with you. You so much. You wanted to be for Weah. You wanted to be for Cummings. And no man, all of them failed you. Come on the winning train. I advised you the other day. I said the train is big. We still got place. I got a cold cut for you. Come on the winning train. Stop all this issue of disgruntledness and bitterment and all of that and hoping for the worst. I think, listen, you would know that some of us are honest in how we go about what we say and what we do. If Mr. Boakai, who is a devout Christian, who I know for all the man years on this earth, who serves as a deacon in my church that I was baptized in, I grew up in, I sang in, I'm a staunch member of to this day. If Mr. Boakai doesn't do what he promised he would do, I will step up to the plate. If I will open my one-man cousin show, I will open my one-man cousin show because it will be a slap in the face to those of us who were propagating for this change. So it's too early to begin to start, putting blame on Mr. Boakai and all of that. The man has not even formulated anything yet. Take your time, River says Pro. Take your time. You're a young man. You still got your life ahead of you. I might bring you on board in 2029 for my presidential campaign. Take your time. Don't do this to yourself. Look at your other friend then. I won't call Neil because if I call Neil, maybe I'll put myself in trouble. But look at your man there. Your man is left from here. They thought it was getting the argument is closed.
I mean,
Right now.
all the people suffering from post-election trauma.
I called you the other day. You refused to answer my phone call. You never even had the courtesy to call me back. And I'm doing this just so I can bring you back to sanity.
Yeah.
You got a long way to go with your young future. Gentlemen, I thought because it's not easy here.
No.
Pro is on fire. The man just so the man. I know what else to do for my picking pro, my man.
Volcano, let me just piggyback on what you said. Riverside is so bitter that he had the audacity to go on social media and say, "Well, the panelists or the hosts of the issues room, I've already taken to Liberia in search of job." Can you imagine that?
Can you pause?
Yeah, us right here. We're sitting right here.
Can you? No, I will get. If I get job, I will take it.
No. What we saying?
I thought it's on the line. Let me take
Okay,
it.
yeah,
Collie.
okay.
Hello, Collie.
Oh,
Wait a minute.
it's not coming through.
It call drop. Maybe you'll call back. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So the point I was making is that River says,
call me again. He called
yeah,
me.
yeah.
Hey, Collie, can you hear me? Collie, can you hear me?
It's not coming through. Maybe you want to do the same manual way.
Collie, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right. Yeah, welcome to the show, my man. Welcome to the show, Collie. Go ahead, Collie.
The president-elect, the people. Yeah, I was saying very interesting discussion tonight because that was the mandate I was giving to the Liberian people by the party elect. So when you hear people talking about, they should bring out the audit, they are depending on the fact that, they think they will be crafty in trying, to hide their loots. And they will not be able to find them, because that happened in Liberia in 1988 when Doe told the United States that he did not, know who to trust because the $500 million grant that the U.S. gave Liberia, they misapplied the money. So when the U.S. government became, upset with Doe said the 17 experts should come. They brought the OPEC group, the 17 experts. They planted in the government ministry, and their position was to ensure that whatever money is being spent by the government, it passes through them. If there's a conflict between the ministers of those ministry and the 17 experts, the check should be taken to the president's desk. None of those checks that were taken to the president's desk None of those checks that were taken to the president's desk was ever returned to say unpaid. So they got tight in the hands of the government's ministers to the point where they could not spend. So they became very upset. They started telling Doe, oh, you know what, we are a sovereign nation. We cannot continue to let people come and hijack the economy and hijack. At the end result, what happened? The extra land. The 2 years contract they signed for with the Liberian government did not materialize. At the end of the day, when they left, 1990, boom, we had a war.
Mm-hmm.
So these guys thinking they can hide their loot. That's the crafted nature of the Liberian man. They will hide the loot from whatever order is coming. You think by buying horses in Dubai or putting money, because we know individual. We got a report on individual who got about $40 million in foreign account. So all of those things can be brought to book as long as they set up the committee to say, well, this is what you have to go after. Trust and believe the money will be found because they believe that they don't have those money in the country. They think they can hide it. That's what they're calling for the audit. I see Samuel Toy asking them to bring the audit. If they don't bring the audit, they are food. He really know that he does not want audit. McGill is telling you bring the audit. He really know he does not want an audit because when the audit comes, those two people will be knocked down to their knees. That's just what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Collie. Go ahead, just make your point about
yeah. So quickly, as I was saying, River said, he's struggling with this post-election, trauma. And, he had the audacity to take to social media to say that, the host of the issues room, had gone to Monrovia in such an employment opportunity. Look, I just want to tell Riverside Pro, look, the three of us sitting here are highly educated. We can survive anywhere. We can survive in Liberia. We can survive outside Liberia. In the United States, we are surviving. We are doing good. We are not millionaires. We don't have thousands of dollars, but we have name recognitions. If any of us is given the opportunity to go and contribute to national development, we will consider.
It's a Moses in contact with
Is that what?
Moses in contact with Jabarco.
Yeah. So Rewa says if the need arises for any of us sitting on this podcast tonight to go to Liberia and contribute, that won't be anything evil to do. But what we did was not to get paid. And I'm sending a message to you and others like you, because I've had multiple phone calls coming. Oh, Moses, you're going to be the next Minister of Information, or you're going to go to LBS and be Director General. Look, the current Minister of Information is not a better journalist than any of us sitting here. If he did it, any of us can do it. LBS, any of us can run it. That any of the guys, well, it's going to at LBS. We have everything that it takes. But we stood up, we championed the cause of the people of Liberia, and the people bought what we sold. We didn't do it because we hated Mr. Weah. We felt it was just the right thing to do. The country was on autopilot and it needed a savior. We have no regret for doing that. So Rewa says, my brother, you're our friend, but if this trauma is affecting you, I'm sorry. And just don't start thinking about other things. If you start having a problem with, major depression, just give me a ring. I can have some conversation with you, because that's what I do for living in the United States. Thank you.
Thank you.
Volcano, just give me 5 seconds.
Yeah, no, I just like to welcome Nora Hoke. She says it's her first time here in the issues room. Listen, Nora, we look forward to you coming back here, but this is the place to be. Welcome for the first time. Come back again. Go ahead, Alphonso. Make your point quick.
Real quickly. So I've been seeing the post. Emmanuel Jackson said something very concrete, and I just wanted to piggyback on that the international community is ready and willing to help Liberia. The incoming government just needs to show to them that they're serious about fighting corruption. Here's what Dr. Richard Nephew, the U.S. Global Coordinator for Anti-Corruption, He went to Liberia in March of this year, 2023. And here's why he said in Monrovia on OKFM. He said corruption is undermining investments in this country. There are projects here in Liberia that could be implemented like tomorrow. So they have money and projects in Liberia that they could start implementing tomorrow. If the international community, only if the international community and international businesses were more confident that corruption was going to be stopped and addressed. So they have money, they have projects, they just wanted we have to do one thing: start fighting corruption. Start. So we can bring our investments, so we can give your people jobs, so your economy can develop, so you can have money to build your broken roads. The children refused. They said no, they got to enrich themselves.
Mhm.
This is where we are today. And that is why it's a mandate that Mr. Boakai cannot renege on. That's what the
Thank you.
Liberia people and also international community want.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Let's go to memory lane because it's almost about what? It's almost
Well,
9 o'clock.
mhm.
And then from there, we'll go to what type of country is this. So all of you hang on with us. Memory lane is a sequel, right? From last week, last Tuesday, we talked about Kennedy. So we're back here, and Dr. Manisumo sent a sequel to the previous caption. Let me just mute you guys quick because I'm getting a lot of a lot of air here. So Memberlin by Dr. Manisumo, and the title is From Besao to Kendeja, an Empire Betrayed. Let's go down memory lane. Y'all remember the golden questions of the 1950s, 60s, and 70s? Y'all remember the way and manner in which Africans and the world thought about Liberia and Liberians? Anyone who has read, lived, and visited or worked in Liberia used one or a combination of these descriptions. Liberia is Africa's oldest republic. Liberians are fun loving and hospitable people. Liberia is naturally beautiful and scenic. Liberia have natural resources and riches. Liberia is safe. You can wash and hang your clothes outdoors and meet them there the next day. Liberians are determined and resilient people. Liberia was the pillar of strength during Africa's formative years. Liberia was the land of asylum, refugees, and the land of wisdom and counsel. A Liberia of welcoming atmosphere for investors, but no more. We have lost the symbolic Liberian art and culture once impressed in beautiful, ornate sculptures depicting faces, traditional people, and the everyday living, inspired by our ancient history that should have predated what is modern Liberia today. We have lost our cultural identity to $30 million, 30 million pieces of silver. You'll remember the land of Malawala Balawala, the village of Soso women, the great singing voice of our Bassa king, aka Caesar Gator. The empire of culture and home of Liberia's identity was bulldozed in 2008 after being sold by Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Where is the money from the sales? Where is the replacement of Kenija? Where is Besao instead? Where are we Liberians damaging, or rather, why are we Liberians damaging what our forefathers labored to give us as pride? How can we stop Barty Moore and Peter Bala from rolling in their graves? Kenija is currently run by Ghanaians. Ghana, Nigeria, and other people took pride for what Liberia initially labored for. You remember it was in July 1959 when a meeting among Liberia, Guinea, and Ghana was held in Saniquile, Nimba County. The meeting laid the foundation for the community rather of independent African states, the CIAS, later renamed the Organization of African Unity, the OAU, and known today now as the African Union, the AU. You remember how Liberia was a beacon of hope for another African or for other African colonies, territories desirous of achieving independence in the 50s and 60s? Do you remember that? Many heroes of African independence visited Liberia during that period, and some were entertained by our national culture troupe to encourage them move forward towards independence. Among leaders that visited Liberia during their struggles for independence were Kwame Nkrumah, Ahmed Sekou Toure, Mbanti Izigwe, Sam Nujoma, and Nelson Mandela. Those who sought asylum and once lived in Liberia included the late Maria Makiba and Hugh Masekela. Despite these remarkable achievements, Liberia remains a spectator on her own playing field. Was the sale of Kennedy and his salt an act of diminishing the indigenous culture? Was the refusal to develop Besao, the culture center in Bombing County, another slap in the face of culture? Certainly, the sale of Kennedy was not for development. You do not sell your pride and heritage for an amount of money, yet what was the money used for? Boakai, Boakai, Boakai. We want our culture center back. I repeat, Joe Boakai, Joe Boakai, Joe Boakai. We want our culture center back. We at Memory Lane hope that Ellen Johnson's relief reported the $30 million to George Manawia. And also, Wia will report it to you, Joseph Yuma Boakai, the money that she sold the National Culture Center for to Robert L. Johnson, who built the RLJ resort. I'll come in peace. And that one was a little fiery by Manisumo here in the issues room. Title, let me get back quick to the title. From Besao to Kennedy, an empire betrayed. Gentlemen, we want to thank Manisumo for his continued contribution to the issues room here as we go through this. But listen, man, what type of country is this that sells its cultural heritage? And this Oman sold the cultural heritage for $30 million and went and put a little Chinese school right there behind George Weah House, called it Kennedy, to the old rehab uh, 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 facility somewhere back there. I was there during the elections. I saw the school. I was not even impressed. I was not even impressed. So, $30 million of the whole national cultural heritage. And remember, I told you guys I graduated from Kennedy High School, right? And I remembered when Dole revamped the culture center just before the war. We had Nicholas Ceausescu come to Liberia, if you recalled. You guys remember the Romanian president came to Liberia, the president of Mauritania. Many of those world leaders came and they stopped through there. And there were great entertainments. We even created a theater, like a stadium like, but with a
Kennedy, yeah.
Yeah, and everything. High school is there, the dormitories, the different homes of the different leaders in the village. Our man, what a boy named William Do, not William Do, what a boy named the dual boy that could do anything. He would come down the tree.
The acrobatic.
He was the best acrobat. Well, he was Dua. His name was Dua. I'm just not getting the first name. Yeah, and Cesar Gator, the Fatu Gavlo, the ZTT, the what's her name? Toke Toma. All this, my man SKY. All
Marawara, Kekwa Kamara.
You sell that for $30 million, pocket the doggone money, and gave the country nothing back. What type of country is this?
What type of country is this when someone who is unsanctioned for reported theft, unsanctioned imposed by the world's most powerful nation, the United States, is calling for an audit. What type of country is this? Should we not celebrate that this man is calling for an audit?
Especially with all the evidence stacked against him. What type of country? You know,
What type of country is this that we're not celebrating that Magay is calling for an audit?
yeah, somebody said it's a deflection. Was it? Oh, Kalik Patel said it's a deflection. He thinks that, we are sweeping on the rug, maybe
Yeah.
Baga was sweeping in the gutter
No.
or the drainage, But this is a serious matter, and President-elect Boakai, I heard he's on his way to the States if he's not here by tomorrow or through the weekend. But I hope he's coming for good, important conversation with great stakeholders to see how we can push this country. But brother,
Yeah.
you and I ain't got long yet. It's not a secret. You and I ain't got long yet. And the country we envision to go back to retire, sit down on our olive tree and play Lulu like George we are to,
Yeah.
and eat our little GB and Dumbo. We wanted to be stable and we wanted to move forward.
Yeah, man. And if I'm going to organize the Lulu, championship job, we will be one of the senior players.
I tell you
What type
what,
of country is it that the former president will be the head of all the
The
Lulu
Lulu
championship?
Association of
The
Liberia.
Lulu Association of Liberia.
y'all want Riverside Pro to get fair with your more now.
Nobody Riverside Pro, man. Riverside Pro, you will country yourself. So yeah, what type of country is this that the predecessing president will become the president of the Lulu Association?
What type of country is it that the outgoing president will become the president of the Liberian Musicians Association?
Everything. Noodle, music,
The president of the Pastor Association of Liberia.
The Liberian Council of Churches.
No way.
What type of country is this that President George Weah will become the president of the Liberian Council of Churches?
Man, the guy confessed on Sunday. You're telling you, the guy confessed, man. He said, "My man, I'm going to be sacrificial lamb here to go fight the people election." I'm going.
What type of country is it that the president said, I'm not going to be no sacrificial lamb? People that are taught from the ghettos and all, they don't want to listen.
They don't want to respect me, and they know where I told them from. And some of them right inside.
Carlos Gray and Jefferson Kojiwo.
He said some of them right inside right now as I speak to you. What type of country is this?
What type of country is this, baby?
I think those guys we are damn pissed. I'm not
They
kidding.
being angry,
This
yeah.
small,
They being
yeah.
angry.
This small.
He said
I told you
Jefferson Koji the other day that you and all.
Yeah, and you didn't have slipper on your foot. I put slipper on your foot.
And then you want me that man.
What disrespect me? What wrong with it? Yeah. When I first came out, I see you carry drink, but I got
No.
Now Carl Gray was Carl Gray suffering from PTSD. And the man said you poor people in the street all
I know.
not
For
very
him,
poor
it's
people
really bad.
on the street
Not
all
only
inauguration
the
day.
CDC, he lost his seat. At least he
Yeah.
had a job. He lost a job. It's really,
You know,
it hurt
I
him.
watched one. Alphonso, I watched one interview with Carlos before the runoff election. I heard him say, "Look, I lost my seat, but I know when my papa win, he will give me something." So right after that, now, the man realized that everything gone the way. He said, "No, I will stay your protest."
Yeah. It
So
must
what type
be-
of country is this? The former president Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is now called Earl Johnson Sirleaf. Because she says she must tend to man when Boakai wins.
Yeah.
What type of country is this? Emmanuel Jackson. That was by Liberia. The
Yeah.
president didn't know about 17 million gone missing. What type of country is this?
Yeah. What type of country is it that the chairman of the CPP said that if Comey did not win, he will not take his seat if elected? Musa Benete, now he has been elected.
Agree upon.
Yeah. Will he not take a seat?
Yeah.
You see how the guy misled Mr. Cummings?
Yeah, yeah. And he's not accepting the fact that they are the reason that Cummings did. They
Yeah,
didn't
they
even
misled the
get
man, my man.
percent of the vote.
What? Damn. Can you imagine after spending millions of dollars, my man, they make out less than 2%?
What type of country is this, Gabriel and Daniels? When the losing party is still bitter about losing the election and saying negative reports about the president-elect.
Yeah, what type of
What type-
country is this?
The man is not even president. You already corny and making
Oh,
up stories. What?
the old
And,
man.
and Wellerton and Blaze say, yeah, Carol Gray had to go. Period. He had to go. Liberia says here, what type of country is this? Former Speaker Chambers refused to concede
It
to
was
defeat.
The man can't believe it, my man. What type of country is this? A convicted
I
felon.
heard, I heard election commission dismiss his case today. So he said he going to Supreme Court.
Oh,
Finally dismiss his case today.
The time he should have propagated and legislate law, he was sitting down there being
Yeah.
bad ball,
yeah.
like he can call about calls him. Now that now he know the law, he doesn't know the law. Let me do this way.
You see
What
how
type
the
of
bread is
country is
interesting?
Emmanuel Jackson said, "No more muya muya."
Everything has
Understand
ended.
Go ahead.
So Jeremy, when did Mr. Chambers get to know the importance of the rule of law in Liberia?
Mhm. Yeah. When they were doing all kind of things to our poor man, you can call over.
Yeah.
But you get throwing his hat in the race. Oh, guess what? What type of country is this? You can call over to Musa Bede pick up and say he will not vote for him.
Oh, really?
Of course.
Yeah, the man get a man not a pickup but a jeep.
That
Get a
Jeep,
man,
it's like get a man
But
Jeep,
look,
man took the Jeep, man. Man told the Jeep, say, I'm for the. But maybe Musa didn't get him the title.
oh, man, no time of being in like Glover.
but that just, when you guys are saying that just speaks volumes about the man Musa Berede. Can you imagine this
Right,
man with all the things people say about how dishonest he is? He wants to become speaker and he goes about bribing people.
But
Is this the
interestingly,
man that will make speaker?
but interestingly, here what it is. What due has Musa Ability paid in
Yeah,
the
that he wants
role
to be speaker.
as a
Yeah.
legislator? Yeah, as a legislator. What has he even brought rather to the table? He hasn't been in this in the house. He
No.
doesn't understand the functionaries in the house.
The rules he
He's
doesn't
just
know.
coming in as a newbie, then wants to be speaker
He
because he
wants to
thinks
be
he can
speaker
bribe his way.
overnight. And,
You know, and Alfonso, you wrote something. I believe you said that a Musa Belede, a Fonadi Kofa, I think I read something from
Yeah.
you, should
Mm-hmm.
never be
Yeah.
given an opportunity because they have
Never.
tainted character. Even the Thomas Fala.
all
Yeah.
the guys,
What do these guys bring to the
Yeah.
speakership?
Who
Tell me
is
from
Thomas
your experience. I'm
Fala?
coming.
Yeah.
I'm coming. I wanted to do this quick. Moses Sandy, you were a legislative reporter.
Yes.
Alfonso, you are a legal mind. You understand the inner workings of most of the legal things in the country. The speaker as a
Mhm.
character, the speaker as an intelligent
Mhm.
man, the speaker as a learned person. Is it just one of these ordinary guys that fighting to be speakers here?
No.
No.
A speaker of
The
the
speaker
of the
is fair
national.
in line. The speaker
Yes.
is fair in line to the presidency. President passes away as vice president, the third president that
Is the speaker.
and that Thomas Fala going to be speaker or Musa Ability or whoever. The speaker is a heartbeat away from the president.
From the presidency. And you want a Musa ability?
Yeah.
Who will do serious business with Musa ability? That criminal? Fanatic Kofa? A former felon?
Yeah. Or a felon.
I mean, why is it that these people don't take Liberia for joke?
Yeah. What type of country is this? Call it Bato. The president failed to fire bad actors until the citizens fired him.
Yeah.
President, we have fired 5 assistant ministers at Commerce today.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did. He fired.
So the
I
man is
heard-
now showing leadership, oh?
I heard of 2. Yeah.
That is belated, Mr. President.
Raymond Clark, what type of country is this? I recommend that JMB should quickly build a don't say a
Rehabilitation
rehabilitation centers. for those podcast editions.
What? I can't believe that John we have fired assistant ministers today.
But he
He
still
did.
left Mawani Diggs there, right?
Yeah.
Lord Jesus, my man, don't be on a dialogue.
Yeah. Oh, Alfonso got lost.
That be on the dialogue,
Okay,
man.
we're wrapping up now. So
Mr. Weir doesn't terminate anybody. You know, he never. Can you imagine? He just go on, John, man.
what
Even
country is this? Liberia, where Costa is pushing JMB ill. Do there can be fresh election? Oh, so there can be fresh
so
election.
that can be, yeah,
What
you
he
know,
meant to say. They're not
yeah.
happening.
Oh man,
Well, Tumu says, yeah, Mr. Bro said, Pro, we are all waiting, and it will start from your killer and corrupt government voice in my head. You know, Pro, my man, please leave the lady alone, bro. Leave the lady alone, my man.
yeah,
We're not using here to go back and forth. We come here to enlighten. We come here to discuss the issues. And I thought Moses tonight conversation was just enthralling.
mhm,
It mattered most because we're transitioning, and it's time for us to checkmate some of these things, put them in check, correct
yeah,
them to move
mhm,
the country forward.
yeah,
The fight of corruption by Mr. Boakai is not the audit alone in itself and holding people by the throat
no,
to say don't steal money. Just keeping your environment clean, just following the rule of law is an adherence to the
of course,
to
yeah,
to to to, to curtail corruption.
absolutely,
Because if I don't throw dirt in the street, nobody gonna arrest me
no,
for me to bribe. If I
no,
drive by the traffic regulations, no police will pull me
man
over.
will pull you over, yeah,
So
you're
I think
absolutely right,
so the whole idea of corruption is not just the audit or putting people in positions of authority and saying if you steal, I will fire you. All other things must come together.
that's
Your,
true,
your professionalism, your respect
mhm,
for your office, your
yeah,
respect for the community, the people who you deal with every day, your
yeah,
professional deportment, what you say, how you carry yourself, how you act out there
mhm,
when you are in higher position of trust. These are all of the things that make you incorruptible.
of course,
But people always align corruption to money. A person of character, a person of integrity, those are all tenets of value
yeah.
that pushes corruption on the back burner.
Corruption is not only about taking money.
Yeah,
Anything that you do, to undermine the process is part of corruption.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you know.
Absolutely.
You
So as we
come,
wrap
they
up
say
here
they
tonight,
say the food here is for the three of you, and you alone sit down and eat everything. That's part of corruption because the food was intended for three persons. Oh, this is 17 million gets stolen from the country's coffer, and the president says he doesn't know about it. Can you imagine that? Thanks, Mr. Daniels. And
uh,
I man, I wanted to get really like that. Oh.
and the president-elect told the initiator to clean the city for the inauguration. What type of country is this?
Yeah.
When the president who was sitting there for 6 years sat on there and just let things to
Mhm,
degenerate.
mhm.
But yeah, so Moses, I think the whole idea here is that we're forward marching.
There we are.
And we're not going to say here that things going to be better in one day.
It's going to take
Things going
time.
to be
Yeah.
better in the
Yeah,
100 days,
obviously, took
first
time. Yeah.
100 days. But you know something?
No.
That same Liberian parlance that say if you know the Christmas going to be good, you know from the East. We'll know in the first 100 days rather how this president going to operate,
Hmm.
how his lieutenants going to really operate,
Yeah.
and that will determine the 5 years and change under his leadership.
Obviously.
That's how I'm going to end it. I
I
cannot
agree.
predict anything right now until the first 100 days. And I
I
pray that you
agree.
and I will still be here to discuss the first 100 days.
By God's grace.
And honestly, we'll discuss it from wherever we are in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Whether we're on the moon, we'll discuss the first 100 days because
Yeah.
those first
Hmm.
100 days will drive us in the direction of the 5 years plus.
I mean, I would even say the first 3 weeks.
No. 3 weeks is nothing.
No, what I'm saying,
Some people think government.
a lot of things gonna happen in the first 3 weeks. There gonna be appointments in government. The people will be going for
So not really.
confirmation hearings and all of that. So many things will happen within that. Let's say within that first 1 month, a lot of things will happen, and this is where the president will demonstrate to the world that he means business. And please, Mr. President, finally, I'm appealing to you, Mr. President. Do Liberia a favor, please, Mr. President. Please give Mr. Nathaniel McGill his day in court. He's asking for it. Please give Bill 12 his day in court. Serena Seafor, please give these people their days in court. Nathaniel McGill is asking for is asking for justice. Please give these people justice, Mr. President. That's
Thank you.
my appeal. I'd like to
Thank
wrap
you.
it.
I'd like to thank everyone who showed up here tonight, especially our new folks here in the issues room. Emmanuel Jackson, thank you. Weletumu Blay, it was good seeing you here tonight. Gabriel and Daniels, Manisumo, the doctor, thank you for your continued contribution to the issues room. In memory lane, Thomas Awaji, of course, Liberia, Kolik Pato, Emmanuel Jackson, Rivers S. Pro, Raymond Clark. We say thank you to Nora, I believe Nora Brooks, if I got it right. Data Charlie, MSB, for being here with us tonight. Tony M. Brooks, thank you for coming through. We want to recognize Adiaha Umo, Maria Gadot, Tyrone Marshall. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Mohammed Krumah, it was good seeing you, my brother. Thank you for coming through here. Flomo Livingstone, of course. Good to see you. Good to see you. Lamin Tai, it was good seeing you here. Thank you all for joining us here tonight, and come back here again. The more we talk about these things, the better it is, and we want your insight. We want your opinion. It's all about our country. We can't come here and just talk by ourselves. We're like, oh, the name is Nora Hooks. It was good seeing you. Come back again. But we want to engage all of you, and we want you to engage our audience as well. So thanks for all your inputs here through the chats and stuff like that. Even though our man Rivers Pro is so uh, disgruntled at this time, but I'm sure that in time he will heal. He will understand that he sees Liberia in a positive direction. He will join, the positive forces to make sure that we all look forward to a better Liberia. Again, thank you all for being here tonight. We'll be back here on Tuesday, God's willing. I'm Volcano Shelton on behalf of my colleagues, Moses Sandy and Alphonso Yeno. We say thank you for a good night. Have a good one. Happy December, because it's the first of the month. Those of you who are coming around the corner to Christmas and New Year. So hopefully you're prepping. Good night.